Hi, welcome to this series of reading with me and discussing my book, Parenting with Purpose and African Wisdom. My name is Dr. Gladys Muiti. We are right now going through chapter 4 of my book, which is a principle of parenting, the principle of passing on legacies to our children, modeling the same, identifying values that matter to us and matter to the future of our children, present and the future of our children, and deliberately passing on the same. Today we look at the legacy of training for living, working, and thriving. We use African proverbs in this book, as you may be aware already, as well as biblical proverbs. Today, the Swahili proverb on legacy of training: he who fears the crying of a child will cry himself. And then a Baganda proverb: by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. By trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. And then Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 8. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Let's look at the meaning of these proverbs. The Swahili one: he who fears the crying of a child will cry himself. A reminder that parenting and child instruction will always involve discipline, and correction brings tears. It's not fun. Correction brings tears. Therefore, the crying of a child, when corrected, should not stop the parent from insisting that learning should happen consistently. Discipline is not punishment, and is never meted to inflict pain and shame on the child. Later on in this book, we discuss the difference at length. Now, then the African Baganda proverb: by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree, comes from the Baganda people of Uganda. It is encouragement that persistence in training our children will always bear fruit. Habits, both good and bad, take root with much practice. Habits, both good and bad, take root. The more they are practiced, the more they become part of the person's personality. Then we have the biblical proverb: go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways. The ant has no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathered its food at harvest. This teaches that many tiny insects are faithful, industrious workers, full of wisdom in catering, not only for the immediate needs of their colony, but for the uncertain future as well. They teach us that we too, imbued not with the instincts of insects, but with godly wisdom and strength, we can pass on wisdom for living to our children. As parents do their part, none of their children will grow up saying, "Mommy, Daddy, you never taught us the value of living, working, and thriving." A 35-year-old man lives with his grandmother and wakes up at noon. He finds food in a hot pot. He finds hot milky tea in a flask. He eats and walks into the town to greet his friends. He roams around visiting colleagues at their work locations and then goes back home for dinner and television. He is also assured of out-of-pocket allowance to visit a few night spots. The man who barely made it through high school and dropped out of college is too comfortable to look for work or to get married. Recently in my clinic, I had a 24-year-old who lives at home, has his clothes washed by his mother, and his shirts ironed by his father. This is a true story. Discussing about his future, he declared, "I cannot contemplate marriage. How can I look after another human being? I can't." Precisely, I responded, "You need to grow up fast, because it is not only a wife you'll soon be looking after, but you may have to look after a child or two as well." "But I can't," he insisted. "And why can't you?" I persisted. "You are not sick. You are intelligent. You are not disabled. Let's begin with first things first. Can you at least wash your own clothes?" We continued our sessions over the weeks, breaking things down to small ones, to manageable proportions. The journey towards change was beginning, but it was very clear that it would take a long time. Would he have the tenacity to continue practicing the right thing? This young man's can't was a long-term ingrained mindset that had been encouraged and reinforced by dependency, and his parents were the technicians in building and nursing this negative, destructive mentality. Now the young man was facing issues in his life at this point that his parents could not help him with, and so his presence in our clinic. In his book, Love Must Be Tough, James Dobson insists that real love does not watch loved ones destroy themselves. If a parent lives with a child who will not work, then measures should be taken to ensure that difficult lessons of life are communicated surely, early, and consistently. We are talking of a child who will not work, although they are able to. We shall consider some suggestions in the chapter on parenting as limit setting. That was a legacy of training for living, working, and thriving. Training is never easy, but consistency ensures that this legacy is surely passed on to children. Keep reading. Get a copy of your book from any of our bookshops, and it's also on Amazon. God bless.